Hi everyone. Today I want to take you through the Procore Directory. So we're going to do a deep dive into this. We're going to talk about field sets, company level directory management, project level directory management. I'm going to try to hit most things. I might not hit everything, but I want to give you a deep dive into this. Effective directory management really sets the stage for your company and how you want to keep things organized. So let's jump in. Like I talked about, we're going to talk about initial company level admin configuration, making sure that's set up all right. Then we're going to talk about company level management. Company level management is typically done by your Procore admin or your accounting department, or not really your project team. I suggest your project team to do all their management at the project level. So company level, focused on the company organization. We're going to talk about how to merge companies. Then we're going to talk about how to add and update everything at a project level as well. So let's get started. To get started, we're going to go into I'll show you how to get there. So at the project level or at the company level, you're going to have your portfolio page. We're going to select company tools. We're going to select admin. We're going to go down here to directory. I recommend every company do this. If you haven't done this already, do it. So you're going to create these field sets. Let me just delete my company one just to show you. So we're going to go create company, and you can only have one of these for your company. So I'll put building better default. Sometimes I'll put company directory or directory company. Create that. Then we want to go through and get rid of things that don't matter to the company. So maybe you don't track any DBAs or something like that, but entity type might not be important to you. Fax for sure is not important to you. Turn that thing off. No one uses fax anymore. Labor union, maybe you don't do any labor work and you're not tracking that. So honestly, license number I think should be turned off because we need a whole license tracking tool. A lot of your vendors, especially yourself, you have multiple licenses. This is just one state license. It's a simple short text field. If it was a rich text field box, I might keep it. But for right now, I want to turn it off. Primary contact, that should be multiple fields. Maybe you don't care about website, things like that. But you want to go through this list and make sure it has everything turned off that you want. Maybe you don't want an email address for your company. Website, yes, I would keep that, but email address might not apply unless it's like a info at or an estimating at, something like that. So we're going to confirm those changes. Unlike most field set, there's no applying it to specific projects, no applying it to and setting as default. So because it's a company level tool. Let's take a look at the person and check that out. So active, inactive, yes, turn that on. I recommend keeping it. Address. Some people don't like an address. That's one thing I've debated turning off. I really just care about company address. I don't want personal address. Now, sometimes your address varies from your actual person. So maybe just tracking city and things like that is important sometimes your address varies from your actual company. So that's important. Attachments, I don't know what attachments you need as a company or as a person, so an individual. So you might be able to turn that off. I turn off business fax and business phone. I just want everything as a cell phone. Let's get into the 21st century. One contact number. What's my best contact number for that person so that I can get them? I don't know many people that are still using that. City, company, country, state. So country, state, I really just care about state for myself, but that's fine. Email address, you got to keep. Initials, maybe you don't care about initials. Is employee of, I would recommend keeping that. Job title, titles, I want to know roles, but that's fine. Send users, so all the rest of these can be kept. The only thing I would debate turning off for everyone, you definitely want to have fax turned off. You could turn off address. The other thing to think about in all of these is what you want to have required. So maybe I want to make sure that last name is currently required. I could require first name. I don't have it required right now, but maybe you want to make first name required as well. And then you have to fill it out when you're actually creating it. Job title, maybe you want to require job title. So those required fields help you to make sure everything's populated, but they also slow you down when creating users. So I wouldn't get overly excited about making things required, but depends on what your needs as a company. So let's go ahead and confirm that. Okay, so now that's all the setup you can do as a company level. So yeah, that's all you got. So do that. Make sure you, like, honestly, just get rid of the faxes for now. Hopefully someday soon, they'll be able to create custom fields. So like I have a couple custom fields that I want to include in there, particularly about person and really about a company, some information that I want to track in addition to just that information that would make it much more robust. Okay, so back at our overall views, we're going to talk about company level information. I want to talk about adding a company, adding distribution groups, adding users, and merging them. Okay, so we're back in the company level directory. So the company directory, we get to company level tools and we go to directory. You'll notice that this is still the old interface for Procore. You have information in the company directory that boils up from the project directory. So it has all the information for you. If you click the gear here at the company level, this is where you go ahead and merge companies. So I can click the merge. I'll show that a little bit later. But you got users, contacts, companies, distribution groups are the main tabs that you go through here. Users, individual person, I can view a user. So if I need to view an existing user, I can just click here. I can see their profile picture. Here's all my basic data, see what projects that they're on. That's available for you. You can edit projects with the new interface here, change history. And then you have your resource planning data here as well for that particular user. So you can edit this all right here as well. So you just click edit, update it how you feel, and hit save there as well. Now, if I need to add a user, all I have to do here is hit add a user, come in and put first name Ralph, Kreider, test, and then you put your default. You can choose later, or I always choose which one applies. So internal, site supervision, internal, Procore admin, whatever we want to use. Now, one thing about adding a user, let me make sure I highlight this. This email address is super important. This must be correct. Go and copy their email address. Don't type it in. Don't fat finger it. Don't get in a hurry because you can't change this. You as the admin for account, that is specific to the user. It will send an email automatically to them. It won't let you change it at all ever. You can change where the notifications go in the email that goes there, but this is actually used as their login email address. So don't change that. There is no way to merge users. Let me be clear on that. There is no way to merge users. There should be, but there's not. So if this is created wrong, that creates another account for them, creates another environment. They have to log in under that. So there are some instances where that makes sense if the company exists and is like same person for two different companies, works for two different companies. I've seen that with like subsidiaries and LLCs, multiple email addresses, but that's a whole nother problem for another day to figure out. So when you're creating a user, adding a user, do that way. Let's take a look at companies. So companies here, you have connected companies, you have your companies. So try to use a connected company if possible, and then it will designate which one's your company as well. So we're going to go ahead and edit this guy, show you what you can do inside here. So if you edit everything, you got abbreviated name, doing business as, I got rid of the fax number there. Primary contact is going to be that person that appears, I think it's actually appears in some of your, by default, like your request for quote. Then you have your invoice contacts that automatically be added to a commitment. So you can add multiple people there. So they automatically will get in there. Then you have contract signer. Honestly, I wish it had multiple contract signers, because really you should have more than one. Yeah. So you can add users inside of here as well. Let's go back to the directory. If you're adding a company, so click add company. Now it's going to say this little Procore construction network thing. Search that company. So search for Building Better. And it's going to actually find this one. It says it's already in my company directory. It's my business page. I can see that. I can go directly to the website. If I'm adding someone else here, all I have to do is hit add. And that's going to add them to my company from the Procore directory. If I need to deactivate them, I can deactivate them right there. So they're no longer part of the company. Right. Once you add a company, say that you're adding a company and you search for them in the Procore network, Building Better, and you just can't find it. So at the bottom here, you can go ahead and select create a new company and then fill out some basic information about that company. So abbreviated name, address, website, tags, select create. And I'm just going to go ahead and create this company. And then you can hit save. So add all the details, add all the information you want. You can even add users, things like that to it. Okay. Distribution groups, last thing here. Distribution groups let you send things to everyone, and you can set up some stuff across the company. So common distribution groups at the company level. I have project level distribution groups and I have company level distribution groups. At the project or at the company level, I recommend creating like a leadership group. I recommend creating a safety group. Maybe you have a quality group for yourself, but those are the parts and pieces. Okay, so let's talk distribution groups. Distribution groups are helpful when you need to send people multiple messages at one time. You need to assign multiple things. Now, they're not quite dynamic in that when you create an item at that time, it's going to take the snapshot of the distribution group at that time, which has its pros and cons because you don't want to add people to items that they weren't part of later down the road, but sometimes you do. And you want to give them access to that. So it'd be kind of cool if Procore had a little dynamic distribution group or static distribution group here as an option. They don't yet. So what distribution groups might I make? I might make one for like an executive or a leadership group. I might make one for like safety. I might make one for quality. Any of those groups of people, like incident reporting might be another group as well that you have to go through and repeat it over and over again and do that same group at a company level. At a project level, I'm going to actually probably have a subcontractor distribution group, design team distribution group, and internal Building Better distribution group. But let's go ahead and create a distribution group, show you how that works. Got to give it a name. I'm just going to call this leadership. Create it. Then you just add users here. So Ralph, Building Better. We're just going to update it. Let's put that other Ralph that's like my Kreider's Ralph. So we'll update that. That's added. We now have this new leadership group. You can edit it and you can remove anyone from that. Hit update. That's really nice and easy. If you need to delete a distribution group, all you got to do is hit delete. And there they go. So now a couple little other things that you have at a company level. So you have the inactive users here that you can reactivate or inactivate. So we can get rid of them. You can reactivate a user. You can bulk reactivate if you need to. So that's there. Same way with contacts. I haven't talked about contacts yet, but contacts are users that don't have an email address with the system. So think about a lot of labor on a project. You don't necessarily need to add them to the system, but you need to track them that they're there. Maybe visitors, things like that, that come to the project regularly, but you don't want to be part of the Procore system. Same way with companies here as well. Those are the deactivated ones. And then you also have your in review people. So this is if they want to request to join their company, they can do that automatically. Think about bidding and things like that if they want to see that. Last part at the company level. I want to go back here to the configuration settings. I made that duplicate building better. So we're going to go ahead and start merging that. So let's go ahead and select begin merging. And I'm going to search for building better. And I got building better new and building better. I could merge all of these, but let's just merge these two. All we got to do is hit next step. And then we're going to choose which one is the best one. If it's a Procore connected company, you can't actually merge two Procore connected companies. Are both there, but you can see that it's your company. It will by default pretty much take the information because it is a connected company. I can't even select this as that item. So hit next, just get the information for you, hit OK. And that's how you merge companies. So basically that's the entire management there at a company level. Remember, just a quick review. You can go to your users, edit a user, view a user, add a user. Contacts can only be added through a project. Companies, you can edit a company, view a company, and then add a new company. If by default, search that Procore network, Procore construction network, find the company there, and then otherwise you can find it here. Then you have your distribution groups for that leadership group, that safety group, that quality group, that incident group, whatever you might need to use it for. Now let's jump to the project level. So we're going to go to a project. Inside the project, you're going to select Project Tools, Directory. You'll notice that this is the new interface inside here. If you look at the configuration settings, there's not a whole lot you can do here except for select your roles in your company or on your project, so who's in what role, but that's it. I usually select that right from the project homepage, or you can actually select on an individual. So let's go ahead, find myself here. So to edit a user, all you got to do, if you have the permission, is click on that user and you can edit them and change anything in here. When you go in here and change that, so some things you can do here is you got first name, last name, initials, email address, phone number, things like that. I can remove them from the roles. You can also add them from project roles here. They can be part of multiple project roles right in here. I can select if they're an employee or not. Insurance manager. So we want to check that so they can update insurance. Now I am a admin. This is just for notifications, so I can edit the insurance anyway. And then we can do two things here. We can save and send notifications, or we can just save it. So we'll just save it here. It's going to update the information. Real easy. If you just have view it rights, you can only see this as a view only, right? So now if I'm going to add a user, so let's go ahead and select add a user here. And we're going to do that same thing, Ralph. And like the nice thing is it finds it. So it would find it already. You could put a template in there. You can come down here and clear. Or if you don't want to use one that's already there, you can just put in, yep, and then select that permission template and save it. You can actually say if they're a company or not. When you create someone, you're going to get a view that looks like this, that you need to select their company. Do select their company, or they're just going to sit there in no man's land. So I would create, you can also create a new basic company here as well and go in and add more details later. So just be aware of that when you're editing it. And then you just save and send an invite, or create and send an invite right there. So that's really how you manage a user on a project. I can get in more detail down the road if you have specific questions. Let's talk about adding a company. So very similar to the company level at a project. Oftentimes we will limit the ability to create company for specific users because you don't want a lot of duplicate companies. Also, these often need to be ERP synced, so you don't want everyone to be able to create them. So really having some basic information, sometimes this is turned off for a lot of our standard users. So let's go ahead and get started here. We're going to search that building better again. And already on project. We can add to the project. This is searching my company directory. So we can add like contractors to that, automatically added there. When you add them, you just hit save. So most people can add companies to a project. I like to be able to add companies. I don't like to be able to edit and create new companies at a project level for most people. The other thing you can do here is like, this is searching the company directory. You can search the Procore Construction Network directory. So building better. And there's are those same people. So that's adding to from Procore Construction Network, maintenance, just click here, add, you see that they're already added. Or brand new company, create a new one. Give it a name, same information as creating a company at the directory level or at the admin level, or sorry, company level. And then once you hit create, you'll come right in here and get that same information to update and add. Just a little FYIs here. I like to have a pretty good detail. I like to find their W-9, get this information right from their W-9. Get this here should match their W-9. And then come down here and attach their W-9 right here. If you want to get really fancy, grab their logo. It's helpful for as you go through here. So last couple things here on the project level, two more little things. We're going to go ahead and look at distribution groups. So we're going to add a distribution group. What are the distribution groups at a project level? I like to create a subcontractor group. I like to create a building better group. So I'm just going to create a building better group here. I also like to create some kind of like maybe a safety group or a design team group. So let's just create a building better. We'll create the subcontractor group. Okay, then we're going to just go search for subcontractors. Let's go Benson Boone, Judah, Ben. And so now they're going to be part of that distribution group. You can always click remove here if you accidentally grab someone the wrong person. So let's hit save there. Now I can use that, like if I go into my emails, compose an email, I can just type in subcontractors right here. So boom, good to go. Added those 3 people and hit send. Back in my directory, I can come in here and edit this group, remove and add users as needed, and go ahead and delete. Last thing for project level directory is this bulk add. Generally, I like to use this really quickly if I'm got to add a bunch of people. So if I got to go to like right here, astronomers, can add them really quickly, add a whole company or individual users. So pretty quickly, you can pick, say I'd pick here. I can start getting rid of people and just delete them. You've got to pick your permission and your project role and whether to notify them already. You'll notice that it won't let you go in here unless you and add to project unless you've actually picked that. So just hit add. Otherwise, you're good to go. I'm going to return to directory and not add any of them. So that's it for kind of managing your directory. Remember, you got to configure that field set. If you don't do anything else, just configure the field set, get rid of facts, get rid of all the information that you don't really care about, make that populating of the users and companies a little easier. Manage at the company level, limit your permissions to the project level, update users, companies, generally add things through the project, manage through the company. So with that, have a wonderful rest of your day. Hopefully you found this helpful. This is a quick run through. I will probably try to do a better one here in a little while, but we're going to start with this. Have a wonderful rest of your day.